Hello again. Mistakes are things that manifest in every career and every aspect of our lives. But the only thing that you can do when they do come about is learn from them. So here's a list of mistakes that I made early in my career, what I learned from them and what you can learn from them. And hopefully I can give you some kind of guidance when you come to make these mistakes yourself. As they say, a mistake is only a mistake if it's made twice. Charging the incorrect amount. Trying to figure out what to charge for a client, what to charge for a certain job is a really difficult thing to do, and the amount of times that I either overcharged or undercharged for a job is in the tens, in the hundreds, in the thousands, not in the thousands, but it was a lot. I feel like there's not really any solid way around this. It's just something that you kind of have to do to start with in order to figure out where you sit in the market. There's plenty of jobs that I charged too little for and I did the job, and then it comes to either editing or, realization after the job that I thought, oh my God, I charged way too little for that. And then on the other hand, there's a few jobs where I charged maybe a bit too much and I didn't even get the job. So trying to find the balance is so difficult, and it's something that really can only be done through making mistakes, through trial and error, and finding your place in the market and doing your own thing. Not having a backup. This is something that plagues all us creatives, photographers, videographers, graphic designers. Anyone who works with computers will know that you need to have a backup of your backup of your backup. Because when it happens, when a hard drive fails, when you're on a shoot and you only have one camera and that camera fails, or you only have one battery and that battery dies, you see what I mean? It's not a good situation to be in. I mean, I've said you have to make mistakes to learn from them, but really this is not a mistake that you want to make. Full stop. Please heed my warning. If you're just starting out, have a backup of your main camera, of your main hard drive, of whatever. Make a backup. Don't make a fool of yourself. It's a very costly and very silly mistake to make. Please don't make it. Spending too much money on camera gear when you first start out. I did this. I'm sure many other people have done this. All I was focused on to start with was just getting the best camera, the best lens, and that's all I was aiming for. Oh, I really can't wait to buy that 70-200. I have a 70-200 now. I never use it. So there you go. Wishing and hoping for better gear is not what's going to improve you as a creative and improve your craft. It's just not. What is going to make you improve is getting the most out of the gear that you've got in your hands. All I started out with was a Canon 10D, which I think had 6 megapixels, and a kit lens. It was my dad's. I used that all the time until I could afford my own camera. The point is, it was very limited. The images, like the quality was awful, but I used that camera to its wit's end. I used it all the time. I loved using it, and yes, I was hoping for bigger and better gear, but making the most out of what I had at the time was the best I could do, and that's the best that anybody could do. Most of us start out with a bog standard APS-C camera or whatever, and like a 50mm lens, and that is just a lot of the times all you need, really, and the rest of it is just creativity. Bigger and better gear makes your life easier. I get that, and the time will come, but to start with, make the most of what you have, enjoy the process, and the better gear, it'll come. Over editing. This is something I did quite a lot. It's definitely the case that in editing, less is more, and I wish that was something that I found out earlier on. There was times when I was taking portraits of people and then just editing their skin like crazy, making them look super smooth, which in hindsight looks a bit daft, but at the time I thought, oh wow, look at me, I really know my stuff. But I didn't. But that's okay. We all make these mistakes. Pushing clarity sliders way too high and pushing the grain slider a little bit too high for that filmic look. We've made all of the mistakes. I suppose that is the only way that you can find out your style, is to over edit and then tame it back a little bit, and then that's where you're at. I suppose it's a difficult thing to advise somebody on, but what I can say is, if there's anybody more experienced who's critiquing your work, take their advice, because most of the time it's coming from a place of understanding and wanting to help. Lastly, I mean, I could go on. This list could be very, very long, and it is, but I won't bore you with all of them. Last is something that I've only really started to realize over the last year or so. Granted, I've been doing this near enough 10 years, is a mistake that I've made throughout my career. Saying yes when you should say no. How this is manifested recently is saying yes when I'm way too busy. I shouldn't take any more jobs on because I've got no free time. It's going to drive me crazy, and me being me, I'm going to work into the late hours of the night and get less sleep and not go to the gym and not take care of myself because I've said yes too many times. I've taken on too many jobs and I am at a net negative from it. If you say yes to too many things, it's only going to be worse for yourself. When you do make this mistake, you push yourself to the limit and you realize where the limit is, and only then can you bring yourself back from it and keep yourself at a more manageable level. It's always important to remember where that baseline is, what's manageable for you in terms of a work rate and a quality level. If you say yes to too many things, the quality of that work will inevitably drop, which is not good for you. It's not good for your clients, the people who are paying you. It's not good at all. Do your best to keep yourself at a manageable level, because it's certainly something that I struggle with. If you have any mistakes of your own that you would like to share, please drop them in the comments. I'm very interested in what people have to say about this. It's always quite funny to look back in hindsight at mistakes that we've made and have a little laugh about ourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Check out one of my most recent videos up here, and don't forget to subscribe there. Thanks.